What's up, everyone? Brian from Brian's Black Bag. So M2 year has been kicking my ass, so unfortunately I do not have time to write scripts and make animated videos, but I can assure you that these videos will suffice, more than suffice, and perhaps be a little bit more interactive. Alright, so let's get into it. So what exactly is this video about? Well, I recently wrote a blog piece titled, "Is Medicine for You?" You know, when you're growing up, you have people hounding you about what you're going to do with your life, what you want to be when you grow up. It can be exhausting, especially if you don't already know. And through a variety of means, you know, maybe it's friends and family, maybe it's a cool TV show you're watching, a cool book that you're reading, you get a seed planted. You may have an inkling that you want to do this or that, but what exactly do you do with that inkling? Especially if you don't have anyone to turn to who is in the medical field. You can't ask them questions, they can't ask you probing questions to kind of point you in the right direction. So that's what this is all about. This is all about me walking through some questions that you should ask yourself if you think you're interested in medicine. So think of me as guiding you through that process if you don't have anyone else to do that. Or even if you do have someone else to do that. You know, it never hurts to get multiple opinions and have multiple people give you their insight. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. First question to ask yourself would be right here. Do you like to care for others? Now this may seem elementary and simple, but honestly this is at the crux of the medical field. I mean, anyone within medicine, especially physicians, you're there to care for other people, to improve their lives. And it could be physically, it could be emotionally. I mean, think of all the fantastic traits that you admire in physicians that you look up to. You know, I mean, initially patients start out as vulnerable strangers and you form this very special bond with them and care for them, again, in a variety of ways and make their life better. So at the root of what you're doing, you need to care for these people that you're taking care of. And as far as how to assess this, it doesn't necessarily have to be within the scope of medicine, because you very well may have no medical experience or no immediate anything on the horizon that could translate itself to medical experience. So just think about if you enjoy helping other people in really any way whatsoever. So do you enjoy talking to a friend after they've had a long, hard day? Do you like other people prepping for big things in their life? Like helping other people prepping for big things in their life, say an exam, say some kind of athletic event, whatever it may be. Does that kind of thing give you warm fuzzies and butterflies inside? Those are the kind of questions to ask yourself. Moving on, this may be another obvious question, but is science something that intrigues you? And honestly, it shocks me how many people are not excited by the content that underpins what they do every day. And in the case of medicine, science is the foundation from which you'll work upon. And it's mostly biology, because you're mostly dealing with the human body, but there are definitely some physical, what's the word I'm looking for? Some physics concepts interwoven. There's some chemistry interwoven. So I promise you, all those pre-med courses you're taking are not for naught. But mostly this is biology. So does the human body fascinate you? Do you enjoy reading about it? Do you enjoy learning about it? It's maybe not so much taking tests on it. It's not the most fun thing, but is that something that excites you? Could you see yourself learning about this in depth for really the rest of your life? Moving on, do you love challenges? Question number 3 up here. So really the challenges begin right away. It's difficult to get into medical school. After that, they throw a barrage of exams at you. There's the licensing exams outside of that. And then, you know, once you get into the clinical realm, whether it's in your 3rd and 4th year as a practicing clinician, there's a whole new onslaught of challenges. These could be, you know, things clinically, really difficult patient presentations, or it's, you know, it's emotionally taxing to really invest yourself in people's outcome, their well-being, and perhaps they don't do so well. And then just working with other people in a high-intensity field can kind of lead to some conflict. So there are lots of challenges within medicine. So you really need to be someone who loves to be pushed and challenged in a variety of ways, and, you know, really meet those challenges head on with a smile on your face and looking forward to the opportunity to improve. So is that something that excites you and would reinvigorate you for the next however many years of your life? Moving on, number 4, do you enjoy camaraderie? Obviously, I am biased in this sense, given the fact that I'm already pursuing medicine. But I would say that the camaraderie in this field is truly second to none. You have people who show up to work every day, you and your colleagues, and your goal is to make others' lives better. And so, when people unite around a common goal, especially something as altruistic as that, it really creates a sense of camaraderie, and you feel like a very tightly woven and interconnected team. And there's really no, in my opinion, again, there's really no way to recreate that. I mean, you can't, it's not something you can synthesize in a weekend of team building exercises. I mean, every day of medicine is team building to the nth degree. So if you love that and that excites you, then this is definitely the place for you. Number 5, do you like things that are dynamic? So the field of medicine is constantly evolving and changing, which I find absolutely thrilling. For example, last week we had a lecture on, we're starting our cardiovascular unit block in the M2 year. And so we touched on MI, which is fancy terminology for a heart attack, in one of our lectures, and learned about the potential therapies to regenerate cardiac myocytes. Those are the cells in the intermediate layer of your heart that are responsible for contractility and really allowing your heart to meet the metabolic needs of your body. And so we learned about all these potential things in the pipeline to replace myocytes after they die. And so I thought that was incredibly exciting and thrilling. And I mean, none of these things are really in use in the clinic right now, but I have no doubt that when I'm a practicing physician, these will be some of the tools I get to use. So that's just one tiny example in one area, one small scope of medicine. I mean, if you were to ask any practicing physician nowadays if what they learned in medical school and residency is different than what they're currently doing, the answer would be a resounding yes. I mean, what they're doing even relative to a couple years ago is dramatically different. So if you are excited by the opportunity to continue learning, continue staying up on things, and perhaps even be part of the medical revolution itself with your own cutting edge research, then this is, again, definitely the place for you. So stick around. And it's also important to clarify some misconceptions. There are reasons not to pursue medicine, and it's no different than anything else. If you pursue something for the wrong reasons, you're not going to be happy, and that is not ideal for you within the scope of medicine. It's definitely not ideal for your patients. I mean, no one wants a burned out physician. They're dangerous to themselves and others. So first off, do not go into medicine strictly for financial gain. So if you do not have an overwhelming amount of debt prior to medical school, and you are disciplined financially in medical school and after medical school, you will have no problems paying off your debt, I promise, and you will live a very comfortable lifestyle. So that is not to say that you will live in poverty by any means. You will live comfortably, but this is not the ticket to a jet-setting lifestyle, and the reason being just the opportunity cost. I mean, going to medical school, especially a private institution like the one I'm currently at, is incredibly expensive. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to leave my particular school with between $200,000 and $300,000 of debt, and that doesn't even count undergraduate debt. So there is a very steep opportunity cost up front. So if you strictly want financial returns, I would look elsewhere, to be blatantly honest. Number 2, this may not be a misconception, but you're not going to have the cushiest of lifestyles. There's definitely lots of flexibility within medicine. There are a ton of different specialties, and you can carve out a nice work-life balance. Definitely, this possibility totally exists, and you have control over that. But your career will still be demanding, and it will still require a lot of input and time, and perhaps impinge on other things. So that is just something that you should be aware of going into it. Last, this one again warrants further discussion. Do not go into medicine to so-called be the boss. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to go to medical school because you want to spend more time learning, you want to garner a really strong foundation because you are excited about the long drawn out process, you know, going to medical school for 4 years, doing residency for X number of years, because ultimately at the end of the day, you want to have the most responsibility. Nothing wrong with any of those reasons, but if you say you want to be the boss, that just implies a sense of egotism, and that will definitely not be appreciated by your colleagues. And again, like I touched on over here, I mean, medicine is overflowing with camaraderie. It's a team sport, and that kind of attitude isn't going to win you any friends. It's not going to elevate your team higher, and allow you to deliver the best patient care. So do not go into medicine with an egotistical bent, is what I'm trying to say. And then last, so if you were really thinking about all the questions I pose, you might be saying to yourself, well, you know, there's a lot of overlap between going to medical school, going to PA school, going to nursing school, being a PCA, whatever it may be in medicine. And yes, that's totally true. All of these questions definitely apply to that, and if you have responses to them that would kind of incline you towards medicine, you could be just as happy in any one of those fields. So what differentiates medicine from other specialties or other careers within the medical field? And I touched on this a little bit, but we'll spell it out again. So you have a very, very long training period. So medical school is 4 years. There are some programs that are doing it in 3 years now, but still, it's a while. And then after that, you have your residency. So that's a minimum of 3 years. And it could be much more than that if you're doing something surgical. And then after that, you know, you're kind of pressed to continue learning. So basically, you have a really long training period. And in my mind, the point of that is you really dive into the weeds. I really feel that right now with the basic sciences. We're really getting down to the molecular level and learning about things in such an intricate way. So you build this really strong foundation. So that would be definitely one differentiating factor. And then at the end of the day, the most responsibility lies with you. So if you enjoy a little bit more pressure, if you thrive in those types of circumstances, then that would definitely be another reason to think about medicine, becoming a physician over a different route that may have a shorter training period and may not have as much responsibility at the end of the day. All right, so that sums up this video. I would appreciate some love if you want to hit that subscription button, like the video, in the comments, tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. Hopefully this was helpful, and stay tuned for the next video.